The Progressive Health Forum has called for criminal sanctions against a Patriotic Alliance Gayton McKenzie. It comes as on the back of a statement he made during a tombstone unveiling in support of Limpopo Health MEC Phophi Ramathuba's view that foreign nationals are a drain on South Africa's resources. Here's what McKenzie had to say.
2024 is around the corner. We shall go house for house. We shall do citizens' arrest. We shall remove them from this country. Their presidents are stealing money and enjoying holidays overseas. Instead of fighting the presidents, they want to fight our police here in Hillbrow. We cannot allow people that get beaten up in Zimbabwe, that get beaten up in Mozambique, that get beaten. We see on Facebook, on Twitter, on social media, how the police are beating them in their own countries. And then they run away. But when they come here, they want to stand man to man with our police. Why can't the police, you shot Nathaniel? Where's your bullets when these people are attacking you? Use the same tactic that you use on our child. Shoot them!
All right, and of course those comments were made yesterday at the tombstone unveiling of Nathaniel Julies, who was shot allegedly by police in Eldorado Park 2 years ago. Well, we're joined by the Progressive Health Forum's Dr. Aslam Dasoo. Dr. Dasoo, good evening. Let's talk about the action then that you are calling for post those comments. What did you particularly find offensive?
Good evening, Kathy. Let me start by saying I was not looking forward to this interview, as charming as the medium is, given its very dispiriting nature and very depressing subject matter. The clip you played should have run longer, because that was the real nub of our concern. When this political leader suggested that if he was in charge, he would walk into hospitals and rip patients on life support from the tubes that they are invested with and throw them out. That is an incitement to murder in any language. And what I find truly dismaying is the lack of any political leader in the country standing up and calling him out for this. Now, if I may, we all recall, during COVID, the thousands of people who were gasping for breath, on oxygen, their families outside praying for their survival. Many didn't make it. In that fraught environment, you have this image of a brutal invasion of a hospital and the murder of people. I think it is beyond the pale. It is the language of genocide. It is the language of ethnic cleansing. And the worst part is that it channeled the utterances of an MEC in Limpopo last week, who belongs to a party, the ANC, which would never have countenanced this kind of discrimination in the past, but somehow has now been enlisted to this cause. And on that basis alone, I think that there is a case to answer for hate crime in the making here.
Dr. Dasoo, what we hear McKenzie speaking about there in terms of citizens' arrests are something that we've seen not only members of his organization, but several other groupings carry out in the country with very little consequences from law enforcement. If anything, there are often police, a stone throw away, that are watching these so-called citizens' arrests take place and doing nothing about it.
Sure. Look, we've gone through this toxic brew of xenophobia for a long time, and in the manner you have just described. And people are helpless in the face of this kind of aggressive thuggery against foreigners. And I think, when we saw today in Kalafong Hospital, members of a lobby group, an anti-immigration lobby group, using the darkness of the skin of people to discriminate between them and locals, and prevent them from accessing health care. Then we must start drawing a line. And there's a very straight line from Bella Bella Hospital last week, through to El Dorado Park on Saturday, through to Kalafong today. And it's a very clear line. I despair that the African National Congress, with whom I know a lot of people are very unhappy, but which is still the dominant political formation of our country that had come in on its promise of wonder and miracle, now opening the door to a twilight of real despair and death. And for me, I think we are on the cusp of a terrible period. And the lack of leadership is what is most astounding. I would look to my president in moments like this. I've heard nothing from him. The health authorities do nothing. The police did nothing today. It is a really serious worry. And I think the fact that the Human Rights Commission hasn't acted is a worry as well. So even our institutions don't seem to want to go down this road. Your earlier interview, I think, gives us a clue regarding coalitions. The fact that the DA, which would have been up in arms at any such suggestion as was made on Saturday and in this clip, is absolutely silent on it, because they're in coalition with this political party. The ANC the same. So we have become totally transactional in our politics. The country is not secure as a result. And I think there is a need for society to take deep stock of that and not to let it go further.
Will you be opening charges officially against Mr. McKenzie?
You know, it's not a role we play. We're a health organization. We may want to take the MEC to the regulator for discipline, but you know, that's about as far as we would want to go. But there are many organizations in our country, not least the government itself, that should do this. And we have to ask why they're not picking it up. And you know, we've heard all sorts of leaders say terrible things. But I don't think any has suggested this in such a gratuitously violent way of visiting murder on innocents. And I think that there will be a response to this. I think there are sufficient members of South African society, the decent middle, who will not let it happen. We must not let it happen. We will stand with them.
All right, let's leave it there for tonight. That is the Progressive Health Forum's Dr. Aslam Dasoo.